The elements certainly this week have been against us. 20 acres of Carp Lake behind me here, set on this beautiful French estate. I've been concentrating more on naturals this trip. A bit like a French dustbin lid, to be honest with you. And if you catch it right and you serve up a big bed of naturals, that can be the game changer for you. That is why you come here. No angler in the world who doesn't want to catch fish like this. Just look at it. I think by now everybody's worked out that European angling is my one, my thing, my buzz. I've literally been coming out here from the age of 16, and as the years have progressed and opportunities have come, I've been fishing out here 9, 10, a dozen times a year. And it's not just a specific type of water. I just enjoy this country, what it's got to offer. For me, France is my main hub. And I think till the day I die, I'll be coming out here on such a regular basis and just getting that fix for me.
This trip was autumn, a favourite time for me to go carp fishing in France. I was heading 200 miles south of Calais to a very special lake I'd be fishing for the first time.
And right guys, we are here at Estate Lake, and I must say it is an absolutely stunning water. 20 acres of Carp Lake behind me here, set on this beautiful French estate with the house overlooking the lake. We've just rocked up, it's mid-afternoon, so we haven't got much light to go at. So what we're going to do, there's 4 of us who have taken this lake exclusively. We're going to have a walk round and then we're going to decide where we're going to fish.
I think we should fish 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
After having a walk around, there was an inlet one end running through to the outlet. A bit of information from the owner as well. We worked out that there was an old riverbed running through it. So my swim choice, I've gone into peg 2, and that gives me a little bit of variation in my fishing, but my main focus was to find that riverbed, which I've found. Just a little bit of a variation in depth change. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna focus having 2 rods on that spot, on that riverbed, feeding my bait onto there on a regular basis through the week. And what I'm going to do is put a rod onto the back line, because we found some holes in the back line on the margins where the carp have been cleaning themselves and rubbing up on that bottom. So I think personally my main approach is 2 on the main spot, the main riverbed, 1 on the back line, and then if one's doing better than the other, then that's where I might change through the week. But that's going to be my starting process, and let's just see how that goes.
And the wet weather already starting to move in, perfect for big carp, but not so much for being out on a boat. This session, I was going for the natural approach. Worms and maggots, perfect for the autumn time. As the wind picked up to epic proportions, I was away, but the microphone struggled to cope.
Very long time today, sorting rods out, trying to find spots.
Well, that had to be the worst setup day I've ever had. We've had 40-mile-per-hour winds, torrential rain, but we kept persistent, we kept going, we got all the rods out, and we've been blessed with this Scraper 20 mirror. First fish, spots are working, bait's working, happy days. Happy days.
After that, the storm really took hold. The cameras stayed inside, but it didn't put the carp off. And at first light, we could appreciate my second fish of the trip.
Well, how's that for a start? Julie, the owner, when we turned up, said the last 3 weeks have been terrible fishing. First 24 hours, not even 24 hours, we've been here 12 hours with the rods out. Nice 40-pounder from the Estate Lake to start off our trip. So why naturals? Especially when it's turning to those colder months of angling, naturals have been a massive introduction into my fishing over the last few years. I've found that I have had multiple sessions where the fish are just ravenous and you're just getting multiple takes, And I think the difference what can be is a steady couple of takes a day to actually causing a feeding frenzy. That's what it does. They've had the same diet for the last 4 to 5 months. Boily crumb, pellet, particle, different flavoured liquids, but the base of the mix is always the same. And then when you come in, and if you catch it right and you serve up a big bed of naturals, especially in a lake like this, very rich in silt, full of naturals, that can be the game changer for you. Right, so we're just about to go into the second night. It was a busy first night. You know, we produced 8 fish between us, biggest 41, which for your first 24 hours you're well happy with. But it seems to be that sort of time of year. It's done that autumn switch where nighttime bites are going to be the one, I think. So it gives us a chance to sort of reset during the day. I've been concentrating more on naturals this trip, and it seems to have paid off. So yeah, hopefully in a couple of hours we've got a few fish to show you, but we'll keep you posted. Second night now, and my first fish came at 10 o'clock and we're like 15 minutes from that. And it's sort of showing us a pattern now. I'm fishing the naturals, and this one, it's a very silty lake, and I'm actually getting more results from fishing right on the deck. So this is just a ball of maggots fished right on the deck, but it's doing the do. It's not too scatty, but I don't think it's going to be the absolute lump that you wish for every time. Beautiful. After that fish, there'd been another big storm. Again, too much for the cameras to handle, but not the carp, as we now had 2 carp in the slings. Well, we're here again, early mornings, and I'm telling you now, one of these is very special. Well, I'm absolutely speechless with what happened last night. This one being 53 common, 24 kilo, unbelievable fish. I chose to fish naturals this session. I thought the change was going to happen in the last couple of weeks, and it certainly has. What an amazing result. Look at that. That is why you come here. There's no angler in the world who doesn't want to catch fish like this. Just look at it. Unbelievable. What a mega fish. And here she is, that second one. 45. The tactics are working, the bait's working. Why don't I show you how it's done? Right, so this is a setup I've been using and catching some of these incredible carp. Start with the bleng tungsten tubing, then we run onto the pin leg clip system and a 4-ounce flat pair. We've got the medium magic twig, then we've got a Vitabits anti-tangle sleeve, onto the ammo braid as for hook link, and then we've got a size 2 lock hook with a Dazzler blood aligner and just a little bit of hook silicone there, fishing it blowback style. Then as my hook bait, I've got a little imitation caster here. That's just literally to keep it away from the hook and kick it out, and a ball of maggots. And something I do a little bit differently is I like to fish them straight on the deck. A lot of people would tip pop-ups, tip wafters, but I've found over the years of using naturals, you've got a big red and white carpet of maggot just sitting on that deck, that's sitting in between them, and it just works. I've had such success on it, and this is the one what's been doing the damage on this session. You've seen the fish it produces, so why don't you get out there and give it a go yourself? Right, so we're going into the third night. I'm expecting carnage after the last 2 nights, to be honest with you. Heavy baiting with the naturals has been key. So just keep repeating the process. Let's see if it happens again. But I'm very, very, very confident.
When out on the boat, I was dumping the maggots really tight. This is because they naturally spread when falling to the bottom anyway, and it leaves that nice red and white carpet on a nice tight spot, ready for the carp to come in.
So we're a few days into the session now, and even though last night was a little bit quieter, it's still happening on the same spot. The same presentation, fishing over the naturals, mixture between maggots and worm. Let them keep coming. Nice little 30-pounder here. Go tell your mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters to come back. Right, so this is a naturals mix I've been using on this session. All my naturals have come from willy worms. So a kilo bag of worms, a 4-pint bag of maggots. So this is the 2 rod spot ratio mix I'm doing, which is half a bag of worms to a bag of maggots. I'll get the worms onto the riddle. I'll riddle off as much soil as I possibly can, get those worms into the bucket, and then I'll chop away. Then I'll do exactly the same with the maggots over a riddle to clean them off, but I'll stick the riddle over a bait lid. And the reason that is maggots can fall through. So once they fall through, I re-riddle them again. So until all the maggots are cleaned off and into my mix, and I've got rid of all the dust. And then I'll give it a good dousing of the liquid dendrobinas. I'll give it a good stir up, but you must get this mix out as soon as possible because all the aminos in the worms are at their best fresh. If you leave them cooking in a bucket, no good at all. So make your mix, get rid of your mix on the spot ASAP, and you'll be fishing correctly. Right, so daytime bites are pretty non-existent, which is very common for this time of year. As you're coming into the autumn months, you find those early evenings right through to sort of early mornings is more prime time, whereas spring and summer you can pick up those daytime bites, are usually a lot more. But what that does give you an opportunity to do is give your swim a good rest, get those rods in sort of by about midday, fresh rigs, fresh bait, and making sure that you're setting those traps just before dark so you can see what you're doing, presenting well, and then once you've done that, you sort of sit back and get ready for the night ahead. Right, so the time has come to get the bad boys out again. Probably about 5 o'clock now, we've got 45 minutes left of light, so getting the trap set, hopefully for another carnage night. Right, so we're at the back end of the trip now, and the spot is still rocking, those naturals are still producing. It's all nighttime bites, so I'm not getting a sniff during the day. We've had some absolutely belting fish as well, so let's hope one of those, this one's one of those. More of a scat fight. I don't think it's one of those big dogs, but more than welcome. Hopefully I'm wrong. There we go. Hey. Right, so a nice 29 pounder to set the night off. First one of this night, but they're coming religiously, these nighttime bites, so we'll keep going. Right, another busy night for me last night. Had a couple last night, one in the middle of the night and then this one early this morning. Yeah, so it's been consistent. Had bites every single night through the night. Sleep's been not as much as I'd like, but it doesn't matter when you're catching carp, does it? So another one to add to the trip. Not the biggest, but made up with this one as well. So right, one last look before she goes off. Go on, my darling. I'll see you in about 4 to 5 years when you've got a bigger belly. Lovely. Right, so this seems to be a better fish. The smaller fish have been a lot more scattier, whereas this is a slow, ploddy fight. That spot over there, everything's producing off of the same spot. That one off of the riverbed, every single night. I've had fish off of it, multiple fish. So yeah, the naturals are doing the job. Hey! Another one bites the dust. Yeah, that's definitely gone over 30.
32.
Yeah. And here we go again. Another nighttime bite, 32 pound. Bit like a French dustbin lid, to be honest with you, but they're all welcome. And like I say, over the 30 pound mark. So made up with this. How about we get her back? So I'm going to turn on my little David Attenborough fact here. So if any of you have ever seen this before, it is called Pectin Nutella magnifique. And apparently it's an algae what only grows in the purest and cleanest of waters. There's a fact for you to go to bed with. A reoccurring theme on this trip, we were once again hit by a big storm in the early hours, and on first light I had one final prize to show the camera. Well, what a way to finish the session. 45.8, couple of hours till we go home. You couldn't ask for more for a finish. You come to France, especially where you're thinking that the change in tactics with the naturals might be a bit of a gamble. I think it's paid off, as you can see. So hopefully this has given you more confidence to fish with naturals, get on the bank and make those little changes needed.